I thought we started off the game the way we needed to. We had great defensive intensity. Taylor did a good job there at the top on number one, not letting her penetrate, kick for threes, and then we made them turn it over, and we scored. You got layups, and of course naturally Alexis hit a lot of threes there early, got us going. But our defense set the tone, got them frustrated, and got a lot of easy baskets off of it.
Questions for the student athletes?
Girls, just any way to kind of feel that a start like that is coming? I mean, anything that happens in warm-ups, or you guys just felt good coming to the arena, or were you guys even anticipating anything like that?
Defensive-wise, we know what we have to do. That's what we do as a team. We thrive off our defense. So before we even got on the court, we were talking about at the hotel. We know defense. Just come out and play hard-nosed defense, and we'll win the game.
Alexis, your start in the first half from three, was that just a carryover from yesterday, or were you just getting good looks, or just kind of what kind of got into you there?
I just think they were good looks.
What?
A lot of talk out
Right.
there.
Yeah. You guys, have played pretty good defense all year, but kind of what does it mean about just kind of how you guys are developing that you guys have played so well offensively these first two games here? I mean, kind of what does that make you as a team, I guess?
I really don't know. I mean, I think we just know it's one and done, and I mean, Alexis is new to the team, but she's been here long enough to know that we have to set the tone offensively and defensively. So that's what we did.
I think you and Alexis, you and Taylor, I think are about 50% here in this tournament. I mean, just when you guys are hitting shots, I mean, just kind of how comfortable does that make you guys as a team? Does that kind of alleviate any sort of pressure or anything? The defense is going to be there, but just knowing the offense is there too, I guess.
Yeah, it's always a comfort, but like I said, like defense, we just know it. We just know we have to get it done on that end. But for us to make shots and play great defense, it's amazing.
Taylor, or I guess either one of you, I know you probably don't care kind of who you're playing in the final, but would you like a third game with ASU, or do you guys even care at all?
You care?
No.
I don't care either. I just want to win.
Just glad we're there.
Yeah, just want to win and get there. This is a blessing just to be there. So.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Right here in front.
For either one, Texas State held their first round opponent to 46 points. Was there a plan on offense to combat that, the defense that they had in that first game?
No. It's just, I don't know. No, it wasn't a plan though. It's just, we just hitting shots, I guess. And like when we start hitting, we just build confidence off of that. So.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, at this point we will dismiss Taylor and Alexis, and we will entertain more questions for Coach Joe Foley.
I got a question. Alexis, are you majoring in speech?
No.
Gary Smith with The Advocate. This kind of the way you would draw it up if you.
That's exactly how I draw it up. That takes a lot of pressure off coaching right there. When those two are hitting shots like that, that's a lot of fun to coach. And when you play great defense, we started off the season. We had quite a few of those games. Joy can tell you, it was fun to watch. And I kept telling everybody it'd come to a stop, but I said we might get it back by tournament time. And I said, with our defense, and if we hit shots, we can win big sometimes. But the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, everybody's kind of getting worn down and everything, and we were winning just with their defense. We were winning by 8 or 7, something like that. But when our offense gets going and we play that kind of defense, we can do some damage sometimes.
And Alexis, I think, had a career high today. Other than making shots, what is she doing well for you right now.
Yeah, she had a great game, shot the ball well, and we thought that we might be able to get her some shots. And Taylor did a great job of not settling. Taylor she likes to shoot the three, but we have to have a few talks every now and then about getting to the basket, because she can make so much happen when she drives the ball, whether she gets the shot or pulls people off and drops it to somebody. So when she's driving like that and AD's hitting those kind of threes, it's a pretty tough combination.
And I also cover Tulane. They were the only team to beat you guys on your home floor
Thanks.
this year, and they're sitting there. They're sitting there on the bubble waiting for the. So what did they do? And did you not? How did that game go? And what did they do that was?
No, that's
effective?
early in the year. I mean, when you're playing early in the year, we went to South Dakota State. We played terrible. We acted like we didn't even know how to play. Tulane was kind of one of those games, but you get those games early sometimes. And Tulane's a good team, so they took advantage of it. But, this is late in the year. This is when your team's supposed to be peaking and playing at its best. So, it's fun to play early and play teams like Tulane and Oklahoma and LSU and those people, and you don't ever know what's going to happen. But this time of year, that it's just like they were saying, they know they're focused right now, and you want to see your team play as well as possible.
You mentioned your offense and how it was pretty good at the beginning of the year, and then kind of middle to late of the season it kind of shied off a little bit. Is there anything you can do between the regular season and getting here to just from a prep standpoint to kind of make sure that comes back, or did you just guys come down here and kind of cross your fingers that shots would fall, I guess?
Well, I've 36 years of coaching. I've seen this happen about 36 years in a row. You can't stay on top the whole time. So that's what I'm saying. You want your teams, you don't get too down on them whenever they're not shooting the ball well. You tell them to keep shooting, and you're pretty limited sometimes. There's not a lot of replacements for Galt and AD on their bench right now. So you just got to let them play through it. Keep them, tell them, hey, it's going to come back and it's going to be there, and hope it does during the tournament. And usually, you guys see it. March Madness kids play. They always play much better than what they do in the regular season. I mean, everybody's intense, everybody's focused. There's not all the distractions. We talk about it all the time. For this 1 week, we don't care about anything else. It's just basketball. Forget anything that's going on. Forget anything that's any kind of problem. Focus just on basketball for 1 week. That's all I ever ask them. This 1 week in March, just give us a focus. During the season, you can't do that. You got books, you got tests, boyfriends, all that stuff. So, you can't fight all that all the time. But for 1 week, they got to understand the focus they got to have.
You guys set a bunch of season highs today. I mean, was that just kind of product and kind of flow of the game, or do you think you guys are playing? Have you guys hit a peak right now, you think?
We play like that, we have. You don't ever know how long a peak. Every game now is a season. Because like they say, when you get beat, you're done. So every game you play right now is just a whole different season. That's, you can't go back and watch film on today's game and say, well, that was good, let's do this. All your focus now goes, if you play a bad game, if you're lucky enough to play bad and still win, you still can't go back and watch film and say, well, we didn't do this right. Because your focus is on the next game right now. You can forget all this. Anything that happens, just like regular season, you can forget that. You can forget today's game. Next game's your season. That's your season. And I think our kids, as you can see, I think are getting smart enough to understand that now.
In just your personal thoughts of being back in the final after, losing in this round last year.
Thank you. Reminding me of that. I hate losing. So, it's always fun. And fortunately, we've had a lot of teams in the finals here lately, and we missed a year. It hurts, and maybe it made us more focused for this year. And, that's the good thing. If losing sometimes helps you focus. It may be the next year. And when you're in coaching, that's the way you got to look at it. You just keep, all right, I'm building for something. Anytime you walk on that floor, you're always building for something.
Any other questions for Coach Foley?
Coach, I know you referenced Ariel Anderson from Texas State. Was there a plan of someone that you felt like you had to stop to get them out of their offense?
Well, Ariel does a lot of good things for them. When she's penetrating and getting to the rim or kicking it for threes, then you're in trouble. And Galt, that's where I give Galt enough credit. Her defense is, we've had to really work with her on defense the whole career. Offense has always been there, but when she can take a kid like Ariel and shut her down like she did today, and we don't have to worry about helping and giving up those threes, that made a huge difference. And I didn't know if we could do it or not, but I thought that was the difference in the game.
Again, with a general statement from Coach Antoine.
It's a tough way to end our run. I think this team always believed, and from the beginning of the season, we've always believed that we had an opportunity to be one of the top teams, and I still believe we're one of the top teams in the conference, that we'd have an opportunity to win a championship, whether it be a regular season championship or make a run here in the conference tournament. And unfortunately, we fell short of that, by 2 games. And I think that's always hard. For me this time, I always draw my own experiences as a former student athlete and just really what it felt like so I can be empathetic to where they are right now. And there's really nothing you can say that makes you feel good, especially in a blowout game like this. But the things that you can always take away from are a lot of the positives along the way and things that are being built at Texas State. And I think that's really what the important big picture is. And then still hold out with the fact of the matter is we've got a pretty decent RPI, played a great team that's had, been in the top 25 in Arkansas Little Rock, who's top 3 in the country defensively. I think we definitely have some room to say that we might still have a shot.
Questions for the student athletes?
Ariel, when they get off to the start that they did, how tough is that to kind of somehow figure out a way to not overreact to what they're doing out there?
It's pretty tough, but every huddle, whether it was on the floor or during the timeout, we told each other to just stay positive and just play it 4 minutes at a time.
Their coach was saying that you were one of the people that he wanted to stop being able to get into the lane. And did you feel like they did a good job of that in the game tonight, and that was one of the reasons why it was kind of hard for you guys to get going on offense?
Yes, they do a really good job of hard hedging off the screen and just kind of sagging in to make it tough for me to get in there. So, yeah, I feel like it kind of messed with our game plan a little bit.
Kalia, it seemed like you were trying to work in there at the beginning of the game and try to get the offense going. Was that sort of a plan for you in the beginning of the game to try to spark the team?
Yes, it was. It was a game plan. I knew that I had to try to get myself wide open because I know that I would be able to make a presence in the paint. And just compared to last game, I know I had to bring defense to that game. But as far as this game, I knew I had to bring defense and offense. So I just tried to get in there and make my presence known.
For either one of you, you come off of a game where you play probably one of your better defensive games of the season. What was UALR able to do to kind of combat that in this game?
For the guards, I feel like penetrating kick to the open shooters and also just penetrate all the gaps in our zones or when we went man.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, at this time we will dismiss Ariel Anderson and Kalia Mays and continue with questions for Coach Antoine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Coach, they go on that run there at the beginning of the game, and how hard is it? I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit of a deer in the headlights look when a team's able to do that to you.
I'm sorry, the question is?
I mean, when a team's able to get a run on you like that at the beginning of the game, how hard is it to kind of get the team to focus on what's ahead and not worry about what's already happened?
I think what happens, especially in this arena at times, you have to try to figure out a way to get them some easy scores or an easy stop. So then they can regroup and say, okay, all right, got it. I get what you're saying. And so that can be a difficult task when things aren't executed the way you'd like them to be at times. But I can say, even at halftime, the team still believed. I think that's a positive, largely because of the first 2 contests was a very similar game as today. The second contest was a little bit different, though, at their place where we had, Megan Brown, Ariel Anderson were injured during the game and didn't play or struggled playing at all. So I think they always understood that they had an opportunity. This team is, in some ways, kind of had our number. But with that being said, they knew that we talked the entire time about the ability to be able to score was going to happen with our ability to be able to score in the blue and the paint on them. And so those times that we did have opportunities, they saw we just missed layups, didn't hit our free throws, things of that nature. But they believed because they saw those opportunities.
And it seemed like at times, especially in the first half, you tried to get it inside to Kalia, and that was she was getting close to making it, on a couple of occasions, but was that the plan in that situation?
For sure. I mean, the thing I talked to them about was this. Georgia State's another team that's similar offensively to us as far as the interior and exterior presence, being able to score, as well as, Troy has an inside presence as well as outside presence. And those teams are all able to score in the paint when they scored. When you watch film, teams that have come close to Little Rock, Little Rock only has, 4 losses in the entire year. It's very difficult. But the teams that have come close, the teams that have beat them, scored in the paint. So it was really important that our post players were able to score for us in the paint, as well as that we were patient enough to not take quick threes or mid-range jumpers to get all the way in the paint to get layups and then, score at the free throw line. And so for sure, that was our game plan. I put it on myself. We didn't have, do we have enough time to prep, to work on it? This is tournament time, so there's really no excuses. But we did see it on film.
And you came off of probably one of your better defensive games of the season against Georgia State. Was it just as simple as they were just making contested shots? Because they made a lot of shots that weren't easy shots. They were just they were making them. Or do you feel like, there were some things defensively that you didn't really like in the game?
No, it came back to if you watch how the game played out, they basically scored on almost every turnover and every quick shot that we took. They'd come down and they did a great job of doing that, as well as they did a good job of hitting the offensive glass. That's what great teams do. That's what championship teams do that make runs. They exploit people, and they finish on the opposite end, and that's what you found happen in that particular instance. And they did hit some tough shots. After that, confidence, for any player across the country comes down to, if you get a big steal, are you scoring? If you get a big stop, are you scoring? And once you get it going, it's kind of a snowball effect. It's infectious, and it makes a lot of fun, and I think they took advantage of that as well.
Did you ever feel like, I know you said you were believing throughout the entire game, did you feel like it seemed like maybe in the middle of the first half you kind of settled down and you'd gotten a couple of baskets in a row? Did you feel like at that point maybe you were going to be able to kind of cut the deficit, and whether it be to get it to 10 or 15 at half and really, maybe make a run at them in the second?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the first half, I thought we were going to have an opportunity. We were going to get a break, but they just kept applying the pressure. We didn't do a good job getting stops. Then at that point, they started to do a good job of just taking us off the bounce and getting the easy layups. We switched up as well as the zone. They scored in our zone as well. We did not do a good job, and it's something we did talk about in tracking on Alexis Dawn. She had 5 threes in the first half. She's really who truly killed us. But that all started with the fact that they did a good job of dribble penetrating, kicking, and finding her.
Was she one of the people that you felt like was going to be, about Taylor Galt, obviously, but did you feel like she was capable of doing that?
For sure. Last game, she was 6 for 13 from the 3-point line. Tonight, actually, I haven't taken a look at it. She's 6 for 8, for goodness sake, so she even shot a higher percentage than she did. She hit one more 3, I guess, in the second half. But we talked a lot about her, to be honest with you, keying in on her and understanding where she is and that team tracks on her. Because truly outside of Taylor Galt, she's a great 3-point shooter, and they find her. They work the ball until they find her if they don't have something easy regarding a layup or a mid-range jumper for Galt.
Any other questions for Coach Antoine back here?
Coach, UALR's reputation is one of, kind of over the years as a really great defensive team. What was the thought of them before this tournament offensively? They've played 2 really good offensive games here at the tournament, but kind of from playing them twice, how big of a concern were they offensively to you?
I think really the X factor for me was Taylor Galt. I had the experience. I came from the University of Arkansas, so I saw Taylor Galt as a young kid, 7th, 8th grade. And the knock on her was that, she was, a lot of offense and very laissez-faire in her style of play. And I think what I've seen is she's matured in her game. She's really picked it up. And I've always said this about Joe's teams. He's been there for a long time and done a great job. He's got his defense set. The second he finds a true scorer, a true player who can get her points any way, shape, or form, they're really going to be tough. And Taylor stepped up her game this year in her senior year. She really is truly one of the best players in our conference by far. She's the difference maker, because now you're truly having to focus on a kid who can score off the bounce, who can score from the perimeter, who can even post up as well, and who's a great rebounder. When she decided to get the Jets on and truly get it going regarding her scoring, and her ability to be able to shoot the three is really what changed the entire game. That changed the game from before. Joe didn't really have kids like that. You know, he might have one shooter, and you could really focus on her. She didn't have the ability to penetrate. But now, I think with Taylor Galt really stepping up her offensive game, it changed it for him, and that's why you're seeing their ability to be able to get even more scoring options than they had before. It's not just coming off their defense now. It's truly coming from the motion they like to run and then getting the ball to her.
Anything else for Coach Antoine? Coach, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.